In this video, I'm going to try to teach you, the basics of playing chordal piano. People express admiration and envy of my alleged piano skill, or maybe they're just being polite. I can never tell when and why people are being polite. Why would you do that? Learning music comes with the privilege of being middle class, lower middle class, enough to get piano lessons as a kid. And if we believe this is a thing, then I have absolute pitch, so I'm musically predisposed. But I don't believe that's all that rare or unteachable. I don't think I'm that impressive a piano player. I'm just good at my approach. I'm versatile in a pop song way. I know music theory, but I can't really sight read at pace, nor can I move particularly quickly. My carpal tunnels aren't up to much. I'm more a composer than a performer, and I'm nowhere near piano soloist skill in any genre. Without the voice part, it wouldn't impress. I eventually got up to grade A piano, but I really sputtered out toward the end, and I don't know how I faked through that final exam, because I definitely don't perform at grade 8 standard. It's way more smarts than dexterity, and the good thing about it being smarts is I can teach you smarts. When I graduated from childhood overachieving to teenage depression, my piano progress slowed down. I got music tastes outside of whichever classical pieces were plonked in front of me. You can get sheet music of rock albums, and they're kind of shovelware, but also kind of essential documentation. But you have to turn the page so frequently it's pointless. If it's been adapted to solo piano, it's probably a hokey muzak where the right hand plays the vocal line. I speak from the privilege of not needing this stuff written down because I can hear melodies and know what notes they are. But if you're singing the notes from memory, the main value these books provide is the chord names atop the bars, which the format of a chord sheet does way more concisely. Commenters on my way too many cover songs on YouTube ask me if I can share the sheet music, and I reply saying I don't use it, and the very idea of asking for it shows a different mindset that might impair their ability in this regard. When I play songs, I play them chordally, much like a rhythm guitarist. If you've played chordal guitar, you'll have a strong starting block for understanding this, because I am offering its piano equivalent. So it's not about getting every specific note right, it's about getting the chords right in overview. I want to play things where it sounds complete just by myself, so my hands need to keep the song going, just like rhythm guitar. Since the dawn of pop, piano players have used fake books for faking their way through pop songs, and that's what I want to show you. Fake it so you make it. Have you seen chord sheets when a song's lyrics are written out with chords above them, like on Ultimateguitar, which this video is not sponsored by? Rhythm guitarists can read that and know what to play. In folk or punk songs, this might represent the entire content of the song, and in more complex genres, it's likely to simplify or at least not cover every band member's contributions. That's what I want to offer you for piano. Not everyone can access a piano, but it's not that tough to find a keyboard. Non-weighted keys do respond differently, but that's about expression. The tips I offer can apply to both. Observing the similarity to rhythm guitar, you call my approach rhythm piano. Rhythm guitar has a silly name. Percussion is rhythm, and let's not get into nonsense about the piano being a percussion instrument. It's clearly a pitched instrument, and rhythm guitar should be called chordal guitar, but it's still keeping the rhythm going. If you're missing a lead instrument, the song sounds a bit bare, but if you're without a rhythm instrument, it's more bare than it is song. I'd like to share with you my approach to the key skills of pop song piano playing, which really suits singing at the same time, but it doesn't require that. Considering how often people contextually claim to be impressed by what I do, I think what I can offer can really help others, and also give away my tricks and expose what a hack I am and destroy the career of myriad piano teachers while lowering the standards of the skill in general. Please subscribe. For the sake of making one concise video, I am not showing you the very basics or the advanced, and I'll only hint at the intermediate. I assume viewers already know the note names, and I won't go further than major and minor chords. Some concepts will be simplified to an introductory approach that won't remain perfectly true as you go on to learn more. A chord is multiple notes together. Some notes clash and produce discord, while some notes combine to make pleasant chords, and it depends how similar they are as resonant sounds. Harmonies don't reward neighbors, they reward complements. The simplest complementary notes are a note paired with another of itself, such as A with A. Pause and read the numbers on screen if you want to understand the physics. A note combines with itself so well that in some instruments you might not even notice there's more than one note, and that's kind of what's going on in the physics all the time anyway. Neighboring notes clash because they're neighboring. Being this close in pitch makes them bad complements. Notes that clash but aren't neighboring clash because one of them neighbors what would have been a good harmony with the other one. If we're calling the opposite of discord harmony, the second most harmonious note to A is its fifth, E. Now, that's not 5 notes up in the frustratingly named semitone scale, nor in the stupid concept of whole tones, but it's 5 notes up in A major and A minor scales, and it's where your 5th finger sits if your thumb is on A and you're not Donald Trump. Chordal songs are composed of chords, and chords basically come down to triads, groups of 3 notes. These notes are not quite neighbors, they're the smallest shape you can make without involving discord. Discord has its place, but I'll tell you when you're older. In a triad standard form, it's just wide enough apart that you play it with fingers 1, 3, and 5. I think the most potent criticism of my approach would be that this reliance on triad hand encourages the player's hand into a rigid claw shape, when lyrical movement is very important, especially for the right hand in piano playing. Yep, correct. Once you know the chords, please get more lyrical on your own time. Maybe I will someday. There's a triad for each of the 24 basic chords. That's a major and a minor for each root note, and you can place them anywhere they fit on the piano, but you'll get a muddier sound down low and shrill twinkles up high. I'm scooting up to C, the note pianos decided to make easiest when major key supremacy set in. Its nearly identical, boringly harmonic note is any other C, followed by its plain-sounding harmony note G. After that, we're ready to add some character, which comes from the major or minor third, respectively E or E flat. I respect you, E. I respect you, E flat. These complete the chords of C major and C minor, both of which I respect. I'm going to stick with white notes for simplicity and to appease the Donald Trump voters who might have clicked the dislike button earlier. This is the triad of C major, and that's one of the 24 chords we're concerned with in this video. C major as the scale contains all of the white notes and nothing else. If a song is in C major and isn't rocking the boat, it would be played using only the white notes. Pop songs in C can thereby use all of these chords: C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and then B has to go and be difficult, but let's skip that in this intro. For simple compositions, you've probably heard of simple songs using only 3 or 4 chords, and those chords in C are most likely C, F, G, and maybe A. Then D's the next most likely, E would be a curveball, and B would be extreme, radical. Please reward yourself for noticing that this rough guidance on the chords used throughout a song correlates a bit with which notes are harmonic when played at the same time. Other keys have other sets of chords that are likely to come up, and they're not all white notes, and sorry, you'll have to look at those on your own time. Knowing which chords come up in which keys will really hone your instincts to play something in front of you in real time, or even by ear. If you want to try playing something by ear, please still use your fingers on the actual keys. Chord sheets then. Pick a song you want to play. I'm not going to dwell on an example in this video because I want you to pick one. Bad choice, pick another. When I've taught people, I ask them to suggest some songs they like, and I'll pluck the one that's definitively simple to begin with. Some C major songs I've used in this context are Common People by Pulp, which is very conveniently simple but just a bit exhaustingly long, and I'm Not Gonna Teach Your Boyfriend How to Dance With You by Black Kids, whose title is exhaustingly long. Look, no complex chords, a small few simple chords. This one's about stamina and this one's about looping. It'd be gorgeous if you could find a C major song to start with, but it's not necessary at all. Just aim for chordal simplicity if you're new to this. A song with 6 or fewer unique chords and none of those fancy ones. But if a fancy one comes up, you can just forget all the fancy bits for now. Shh, don't tell any music professionals. You can even transpose songs once you figure out how on ultimateguitar. That means changing the key it's in. This is a frequent feature of guitar music, using a capo, a physical tool that transposes the instrument. I don't like relying on these because it's not how my brain works. Inversely, digital pianos allow you to transpose their output, so you could move any major key song into C major for your hands for now. Read along on these documents written by many lovely contributors stealing songs from their original composers, potentially oversimplifying and bastardizing, and get annoyed when the auto-scroll goes too fast, then too slow, then it just stops before the end. That'd be so easy to fix. It's worth remembering that these are good faith amateur contributions. There's public votes on how good a suggested chord sheet is, and comments that might correct things, but this stuff is between gospel and guesswork. Pick a well-known song and you'll probably find a good version. And not all songs are even chordal. Not everything plays this way, but you'll generally be able to tell which songs don't fit. The approach to piano I'm showing you is very polyphonic. When I play, it's likely 6 fingers are involved in every command. That's a lot to coordinate, and it's up to you to get there if you want to play that way, but let's start with right hand. Okay, C major, right hand, play that. If your song says C major, you gotta play that until it says something else. But each note you play fades, so that's where rhythm comes in. The rhythm's gonna have to match whatever you intend with each song. Assuming that songs have 4 beats in a bar, it'd be dronesome to just play it on beats of equal duration. If you're using a digital piano or a keyboard, you could probably choose a voice with more sustain, such as an organ, and then you don't need any rhythm, just hold it. Back to piano, I use the sustain pedal a lot. If you have 3 pedals, it's the one at the right next to the 2 useless ones. If you have 2 pedals, it's the one at the right next to the useless one. If you have 1 pedal, it's useful. If you don't have one would be useful. Without this pedal, things sound staccato, a musical term for when things sound staccato. As you get more adept, you can vary the rhythm with different fingers doing different things, which we call arpeggios or broken chords. For this video, keep this on the triad notes, but once you're better than me at piano, you can get melodic with it. Then another chord might come up, like G. The simpler but harder and worse way to do this is leaping to G. Please, if you're not yet acquainted with all of the chords, start out by getting used to their standard plain triad shapes like this. Once you're chordally literate though, you can use inversions, versions of chords where the notes are different ways up. From an uninverted C, the least effort to move to a G chord is here, B, D, G, and then it's easy back to C, and I'd be subconsciously calculating which inversion of any chord is least effort. Not just to be lazy, it tends to sound better. Inverting a chord does change its bass note, which can upset the sound in some contexts, but it's no problem in my approach because I have another hand to the left. Playing lower notes and assuming right-handed supremacy, the left hand is less responsible for details and more for grounding. I tend to play octaves on the bass note with a 5th thrown in and occasional thirds, but even that could be a detail too far in a lot of cases. Let's keep it simple, octaves and 5ths. If you're not used to playing wide-handed like that, you can try just doing the octaves, just doing the 5ths, doing the very same as the right hand, or just doing the root note. Here's those chords again. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and the stupid runt B you can read about elsewhere. It's like they arranged everything into a neat set except the one that didn't fit. I don't mean to be so diminishing. B chords are lovely in other contexts, and every note hosts the runt chord for some other key. No, I'm giving away my secrets. Just look through my many years of cover songs and you'll see how I've applied the same approach to pretty much everything, arguably cheapening music into this barely impressive samey sludge. My left hand's doing octaves, my right hand's doing inversions. It's all in this 1, 4, 7 rockist pulse, whatever. I never said I was deep. 1, 4, 7, 1, 4, 7. I'm counting the rhythm in quavers in the bar. A drummer would emphasize 3, 7, 3, 7. And I emphasize 1, 4, 7 to give this trajectory of excitement from a mild syncopation. Whereas like an alternative pulse is going along with a duration of 3 quavers each beat, but every couple of beats it leaps back into pace. In dance, it's not that far from a tango. Probably has a specific name, but in rock, the way I approach it, it's everything. Don't steal this from me, not because it's mine, but because it's trite. Find your own approach, or whatever suits the song. Obviously, songs might not be in 4/4, they might even change time signature or speed, but even more obviously, I'm not covering those here. The way I play songs by myself, I am bodily responsible for maintaining the entire structure. It's one-man band stuff. I'm the rhythm and the lead. This approach results from being left alone so much, but in different situations it might not be necessary. Imagine this, meeting other people. There's a lot more freedom in musical performance when you're working with others. If there's a bass, then your left hand's free. If the chords have been filled in, then you can try something brave like a melody. But here on the rhythm piano, you just gotta be ready on those chords. I would like you to familiarize with each major and minor chord, initially in their right-hand uninverted statuses. There are 24 of them, and you really gotta cache them all. Look, even B's got some. A major chord goes, count the semitones, I really wish they weren't called semitones. Root, up to third, up to fifth. A minor chord goes root, up to third, up to fifth. Some of the shapes are harder than others, depending on where the black notes lay. Start with all the ones rooted on white notes, then go woke. Gotta mention for the black notes, don't forget that A sharp is just another name for a B flat, etc. Though some of their identities come up more than others, before long you really have to be ready for either terminology. I still micro-hesitate when the names A sharp and G flat come up. Pause until you've memorized every single one. Welcome back. Damn, you really need a shower. Pause and take a shower. Welcome back. This bit's all down to grind. You're gonna have to pause the video for much longer. I want you at a level where I can say a chord name out loud and within 2 seconds you're rocking it, because that's what reading songs as chords wants. It'll take some work, but along the way you can intuit the sound of majors and minors, and your body will eventually catch up with the progress your instincts are making. Once you've got these chords, go ahead and invert them. Like this B flat major, that F note could go an octave down. Just pick what sounds or feels right. This is nearly the same thing as learning guitar chords, but it's easier in a lot of ways because the notes are named after the shape of a piano. Once you're used to black and white notes, you can see the entire shape of every chord, and you don't get to toughen your fingertips or mute strings or get into particularly complex shapes. Guitar is easier in some other ways in how bar chords and fret distances have consistent logic, and guitar's cooler. I've not yet programmed an app of me yelling chord names at random every few seconds. Maybe that can be on Patreon or something. Once you add in the left-hand layer, that's basically how I play rhythm piano. I say this from the standpoint of 30 years experience. I know it's way easier said than done, but there's a context in which it's reasonably easily done, and I hope I've managed to show you that. If not, you'll have to rely on a professional. Please, if you're interested in trying chordal piano, use this approach with some chord sheets. Make it easy on yourself. Use only major and minor chords. Use an organ or otherwise sustaining voice. And once you've got through a song with this basic approach, try again with a bit more complexity, whether rhythmic or chordal. Of course, I've simplified stuff. Of course, you'll simplify stuff to fit my approach. And when you're confident, you can reintroduce the complexity. Like, it won't be long before you encounter a chord name that's neither major nor minor. For this introductory approach, you can distill those to the major or minor, depending on if there's an M there. You're removing flavor from it, but you're bringing it to your skill level, and plenty of top-end players might still not calculate the major 7th, flat 5th, add 13th in time every time. Let's glimpse those more complex chords so I don't have to do it in a sequel video. I'm not teaching you every one of them. This is the hardcore intermediate stuff. Here's C major, here's C minor. When it's got a more complex name than that, Ultimate Guitar only shows you how to play it on a guitar, but you can quickly look up what notes are involved. Starting with the one example that's actually simpler than a triad, I do rock music, so I come across power chords or fifth chords. We've already gone past those in this video. That's the chord without the major or minor flavoring of the third. This bearer sound often suits the aggression of rock music. Any other time a chord has a number in its name, it means to add that note to the chord, sometimes sacrificing the third in its favor. In general, the fifth stays, and the root note stays, else you wouldn't name the chord after it. Annoyingly, these numbers can even go past 8, but right now that's past your bedtime. When there's a forward slash, these are irksome to parse, but it means this chord with this note portrayed as its lowest note. When there's a note from the triad, that's basically the same thing as an inversion. When it's not a note from the triad, it's potentially a transitional sound that would be ugly by itself. Basically, don't worry about these guys yet. Simplify them, but I'm telling you what they are so you're not confused. Oh, and NC is no chord, like silence. Try and come up with a cool pose to do for when that comes up. I have no argument against learning sheet music or traditional music theory. I understand sheet music adeptly, but I haven't sincerely used it in a long time. It doesn't benefit me in the approach I want at all. Music theory I'm proficient at. There's a lot of interesting tidbits in how music works, and a lot of those moments where it's just so annoyingly impractical in how it's codified. Some satisfying science, and periodic reminders that we're speaking within the standardized construct of the 12-note scale as designed and defined by European men of the past. Relying on theory more than instinct might tame out some of your originality, but instinct without theory can be pretty dreadful. That's why the theory's there. That's my best shot at explaining this stuff. The success of this video comes down to whether I've made this skill more accessible to anyone. Beyond what I've shown, it basically comes down to experience, and you rack that up with practice. Practice meaning rehearsal, but also just meaning undertaking. Go practice what I've preached, and you'll soon be able to poach my YouTube audience. Here are the major and minor chords in an order that's reasonable to learn them. C major, C E G, C minor, C E flat G, D major, D F sharp A, D minor, D F A, E major, E G sharp B, E minor, E G B, F major, F A C, F minor, F A flat C, G major, G B D, G minor, G B flat D, A major, A C sharp E, A minor, A C E, B major, B, D sharp, F sharp, B minor, B, D, F sharp. And here are the ones that start on black notes, using the most common name for their sharpness or flatness, except when it's a white note, you don't want to get into E sharp. C sharp major, C sharp, F, G sharp, C sharp minor, C sharp, E, G sharp, E flat major, E flat, G, B flat, E flat minor, E flat, G flat, B flat, F sharp major, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, F sharp minor, F sharp, A, C sharp, G sharp major, G sharp, C, D sharp, G sharp minor, G sharp, B, D sharp, B flat major, B flat, D, F, B flat minor, B flat, D flat, F. And sadly, you need to learn those in each of their names. So C sharp major is also D flat major.